Hey, Armors. Hello, Pablo. Hey, Captain. Hope everyone's having a good night, or day, whatever time zone you're in. Yeah, I've been wanting to play that character since the concept art was leaked. Hello, Zenkoi, because I think that's how you pronounce it. No, this is a younger Marcy. Yeah, she comes out on the 27th, so it'll be interesting to try her out. Going good so far. Just working on stuff. Trying to get as much done within the week as I can. easily the goal. Hey, Alex. Oh yes, it is getting time. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Hope everyone else is doing good. Could be a midnight snack, I don't know. I'm just drawing her chunky. Wasn't really thinking of a scenario, honestly. I do want to do more detailed stuff in the future. Those will have to go into certain tiers or whatever the case may be. It depends. Depends on what happens with whatever piece I'm working on. I still need to work on Caitlin's comic, but I need to work on iHat and Black Surface first. But hopefully this weekend I can get more of that stuff done. Oh, that's good, Pablo. Glad you had a good time. I know there's been like what, 3 or 4 Marcys in the Veteruscy Cup already. So this is like nothing. Especially to normal Marcy, because she's like, this is literally my story. It's like, what next? Mama Marcy gets voted in. If she gets voted in, I'll just make her a big old whale. Which really isn't that much different. Skylar would just be like, already been there. I did that. Yeah. Marcy's always fun. I'm glad everyone's enjoying I had Volume 2 as well. Especially how Emerald is coming along. But yeah, I figured I'd try to get the Fat Lovers Club done, and then pretty much the rest of the month will be focused on comic stuff, including the weekend. Like I'm pretty much just seeing that as the same week. I'll probably show Marcy having a conflict with her mom in the future. It'll probably be like a short comic. But definitely not gonna focus on her for a while. At least not stories. Like I'll probably, draw side art of her and stuff like that. Like that's not gonna go away. But trying to give other characters some time to shine. Even if it's something small for now. You give her a raspberry. Pretty sure Skylar's taking over that area. He's like, no, mine. As he grabs like a big old hug full of Marcy Chubb. And then at some point, I'm gonna have to try to make an edit so I can post Creamfield 4 on YouTube. Because I know people have been asking for that. Oh, Marcy's mom? She'll probably lose her shit. Well, first she'll faint, probably, when she sees Marcy. Because she won't believe that that's her. Then once, you know, it all sinks in, then she'll probably lose her shit. And then she'll be heavily suspicious of Skylar for a while. She probably could. Like, realistically, Marcy's mom probably could figure out what Skylar is able to do. Pretty much just a matter of how much I allow her to learn, or if I make her even attempt it. Because all it'd really take is for Marcy to have like a decent conversation with her mom, and then her mom would probably not even bother. Or even like convincing from her husband. But of course, they'll likely take her to a doctor to see like what the fuck happened. And the doctor ain't gonna know what the hell to tell them. Other than, well, she's healthy, she's just really fat. Enjoying the US Open? I have no idea what that is. But yeah, Martin would likely try to see it from Marcy's point of view, as well as try to give some credit to Skylar. Be like, well, I mean, we don't know why Marcy got so chunky, but you know, at least Skylar loves her for who she is, and if he's into that. World Tennis, oh, I have not watched any of that. I like tennis, but I haven't watched it. And then it'd probably just lead to Marcy's family wanting to meet Skylar's family, and then that's how that happens. And then that's probably when Martin and Luis just chill on the couch with a beer or something. While Mars would probably be visiting at that point in time, so probably the women would be chatting in the kitchen or something. And then Jupiter would just be all adoring Marcy because she's a chubby kitty. And then she'd probably be adoring Crystal as well. He's like, oh my god, you both kitties. Skylar is just trying like not to do anything too suspicious. So he'll probably be chatting it up with Marcy too, but then hang out with Martin and his dad. And if I have time, I want to work on the next weight gain drive. But I do plan on having one start either this week or next week. Just depends on how much I get done. Hopefully the comment pages won't take me nearly as long as the recent I have page. Like, Jesus, that took so long to do. Might have to start putting props on like a different layer just to ease up on the workload. And then possibly change the method of how I do objects and backgrounds. Thank you. Yeah, trying to vary it up. Yeah, usually when I'm drawing, I'm trying to like tweak some things here and there, you know, experiment with some stuff. And then there's still like other drawing methods that I'm playing around with. I might move this up just a little bit since it's in a different spot. I need to make some more bios. I've shown a bunch of characters, but I haven't given them their bios. I'll have to go down the list of who is the oldest one that didn't get a bio. It's probably like Sean or something, I don't know. And then some characters, I don't want to give a bio until they initially show up in the comic. I know Kiwi needs her bio. What's up? Just working on this stuff. Working on comics and all that, trying to get the Fat Lover Step stuff done. Pretty much the normal, the stuff I usually do, honestly. I know I'm boring. I don't do much else outside of like Halloween and I guess recently conventions. I don't know, maybe try to work on an experimental project or something in the future. That might be fun. And then of course the card game stuff. Which I should probably toss in some more I-hat cards into the next set. Fluff out a few card spots too. I still gotta draw the rest of Jolly's King, Queen, and Jack cards and all that. Yeah, time is always going to be a bitch. I'm working on organizing my schedule more so I can get more done. I just have to stay focused and like just, you know, get like certain goals done each day. That way it'll be more productive. That's weird, going back on a Thursday. Thank you. I do what I can to not suck. At least suck less. I should probably also do comics of Skinny Marcy too in the future. Just like, you know, what she's been up to before interacting with Skylar. It'll be a fun addition to her lore. Or how she met Blake. Yeah, she was just normal. But it would be fun to see how she meets Blake and Stacy and what they've been doing before all the events in the first I-Hat. Or could see how Marcy got hooked on Skylar and what she did about it, and hell, maybe even Blake saying like, why don't you go talk to him? He's like, I can't do that. Yay. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry you have to switch accounts so many times. Some spots. I try not to go overboard with this. It's not. technically necessary, it's like not bad. Just a matter of doing it in moderation. Guess I'll go a little bit on arms. Just small touches. Okay, background's kind of heavy, let's do it. Let's give it a good swap, like a clean version of this. What I want to grab. Let's see. If I were to, what is it? Yeah, I'll likely have Marcy show up in like past stuff too. If I were involved present day Marcy. Yeah. Like I'll probably have like some in between comics of when Blake runs away and Marcy is, you know, distraught trying to find her friend. And I mean, it just depends on where I go with it, because either I can do like side comics or I can do, you know, fill it in during Blake's comic. So there's multiple ways of going about it. I'll just use these. I'll likely blur it. Yeah. Because like honestly, if it's not necessary, then I likely won't do it. Like I had debated if I was gonna have Joanne appear in Andy's story, but then I like sat there and thought about it. It's like, okay, would they live in the same location? So it was like one of those type of things, and like at the same time, it wasn't even necessary to do that. So like I could tie her in easily if I wanted to, but at the same time it was like wasn't even like a necessary thing. Because it kind of just boils down to location. Because it's not like Joanne and Janet live in like a bad apartment or anything, so it's possible that they could live in the same area. But it's probably not necessary, so I probably won't do it. And if I did hint that they're in the same area, it'd probably just be like offhand or something, or maybe mentioned by another character. It's like, oh hey, I ran into this blue snake, or you know, whatever the dialogue would be. But yeah, like I'm trying not to, and I think it's one of those like other things where it's like I'm trying not to like have all the characters be so near to each other type of thing, because I always find that very convoluted. Where it's like, man, just very lucky that all these characters just happen to be living near each other, or you know, in the same exact area, or you know, whatnot. It's kind of like how, I guess like one of the examples I can think of is Star Wars, where it's like, wow, it's a good thing all these stories are tied to this like one family, or two, or you know, handful of family members, or whatever scenario. So it just gets kind of like, it's like, does the universe really revolve around these people type of thing? So it's like, I don't want to make that kind of situation. This pig is perfect. Thank you. Yeah, try to make it interesting a bit, because I mean we've seen Fat Marcy numerous times at this point. So I want to go with the younger version. Or at least return to young chubby Marcy. I haven't seen. I could totally see Marcy looking at this picture going like, oh my god, I was so skinny. Marcy had physical education. Yeah. Oh yeah, was that one pic of her where I drew her from behind and her butt was bigger? It's been a while since I did that pic. I guess I could leave the background on that. It's not that big of a deal. Polka dots, but I do want to clean this up. This is annoying. Other spots, not so much. Okay, we're good. All that's left is my name, or tag, whatever you want to call it. Could steal it from there, but I'll just do it this way. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it so much. But I do try to improve when I can and where I can. So I'm always looking at tutorials and looking at artwork to see what methods I could try to practice. That's why I experiment a lot. Okay, so Marcy is pretty much done. Should probably save out the versions right now, just so I don't forget. Gotta remember to start putting 01 in front of names now, since Dropbox likes to mix the names if they're not numbered. Yeah, it just depends on where you're going with your world, because depending on what kind of rules you establish, you'll have to follow them. Especially if your world's gonna have like a bunch of bizarre things happening. Give me some water. If your world has like a lot of things going on, you gotta find some way of balancing it out, unless it's like a more comedy-based universe where logic doesn't happen so much. It's a juggle, because there's so many ways of going about it. You just gotta find what flows best. Alright, so Marcy's done. Got done with her pretty early. Try to do Blake next. Done with Silvers. Okay, it's fine. A decent pose for as well as reference. Oh. Okay, there's Blake. Now I need some decent reference. Because when it comes to the weight gain level, fat lovers club, I kind of just do whatever, because I'm not too hung up on anything being canon. So, and then I guess in Blake's case, it's hard to make it distinct between Blake Dinewell and Blake Sinclair, because the only real difference is just, you know, the scars and wound that's on Blake's eye. So it's kind of hard to make them distinct when I make her put on weight. Not that one. Let's try this one. This one should be fine. But then again, it's not canon, so I should just have fun with it. Chica have a beer belly. Yeah, I could do that. Okay. I still need to find a good spot of zooming in, because sometimes it feels like I'm either zoomed out too much or not zoomed in enough. But then, like, when I'm zoomed in too much, I draw it too small. But when I draw it too far out, there's like a lot of cleanup that I have to do because some of my lines get more messy than usual. Make Blake more embarrassed about it. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, Blake be like, I know Marcy likes this, but I don't know if I do. And I don't know, probably have like a character in the back going like, damn, look at that ass. I don't know. I'm just talking. That's how a lot of my ideas come up, is where I'm just yammering about random nonsense and then something sounds good and it'll make me want to do it. Exactly. Blake's like, how the hell? He's like, how the hell does Marcy get used to this? But yeah, for the weight gain drives, I'm gonna try to do less of my characters for a while. And then I do want to do another art set of some characters. I should probably do FNAF characters since the movie's coming soon. And I've already done 2 sets of FNAF already, so I should do the next one. Although personally, I don't really care about the Phantom animatronics, so I'll probably I'll probably draw the Withered for the 3rd set, since I didn't draw them. I only drew the toy. Yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm very curious of how they're gonna use Springtrap. Because I'm curious on how they're gonna tie that in. My only gripe at the moment is just the part where from the first trailer where Vanessa says that the ghost children want to make the little girl like them. I'm like a little on that, because I'm like, that sounds way too fucking cliche. But hopefully that's just like a misunderstanding of what's gonna happen, and like something different will happen. If not, I mean, it's not like the end of the world. I just feel it could have been done better, I guess. We'll make Blake fatter than Marcy. Or at least the Marcy that I drew. That's in the novel. The novel was honestly the biggest fucking mistake. Because it was fine in the beginning when Scott said that the novels were just like an alternate take of the series, which is fine. But now, like, at least in Security Breach and Security Breach Ruins case, they're pulling from the novels now. And that's just gonna make everything fucking convoluted. And now it's gonna be like up in the air on what is canon and what isn't. And for all we know, the movie could just be like another in-universe thing where it's like, oh, we made a movie to make light of the events that happened. Which would be very smart if they did that, honestly. Because they pretty much did that in FNAF VR by saying like the previous games were just someone's interpretation of what happened. So for all we know, we'll either never know what actually happened in the past or in the events of the stories and all that, or the story and all that, or at some point there will be like an actual, okay, this is what actually happened and it's like really fucked up or something. Yeah, it was to make light, but they also say that some stuff wasn't true and some of it was. So now it's up in the air on what actually happened. Yeah, because the whole point was just kind of like to wreck it. Well, I don't think the point of it was to retcon, but it basically just retconned the previous 7 games. And like when people try to say, well, so and so is in purgatory, whatever, it's like, we don't know that because that part of the story is now retcon. And then Scott did say that he changed the story 2 or 3 times because of fan reaction. Because it was supposed to end at 3. But people said 3 wasn't very scary, so he made 4. But then he decided not to show the ending of 4 because he felt that people wouldn't accept the answer to that, which apparently was that everything was a dream. And so after that point was Sister Location, and Sister Location I feel was where it started to go a little downhill, or start to go downhill. Was because of the whole sci-fi bullshit. And it's like, you already have the ghost stuff, why are you mixing in sci-fi? But that's just me. Yeah, well, probably. But I think FNAF will at least do a decent job explaining its own storyline, for at least movie-wise. But fans are gonna be like, okay, so and so is here and all that, and the only way it's gonna be confusing is if it's not hinted towards or alerted to for the people who don't know about the games and all that. But still, I think the whole sci-fi angle is what messed up the series, because now the whole thing is just about, you know, rogue AI and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like, it was way better when it was just about ghosts. Oh yeah, Scott had already admitted that he was taking bits of MatPat's theories, because he was going with, you know, the biggest reaction that fans were having, and then just adjusting the new games from whatever was confusing of the old game. So like, for example, if something was confusing in, say, FNAF 3, then he would adjust that in FNAF 4. And so on and so forth. But I don't think he started doing that until after FNAF 4. Because that's when he started, like, trying to adjust things. Because the part where it's where you start thinking like, oh, some certain people are machines, and then you start saying like, oh, well, here's Remnant, and Remnant does this, and I'm just like, did we really need any of this? It was like very, like, the story was very easy to to take. It was just, okay, serial killer killed a bunch of kids, hid their bodies, now they haunt a pizzeria through the animatronics. Done. Like, it wasn't that complicated. And then for some reason, it had to become complicated. So, I don't know. I just like it. I like the simpler take from the first two games. Like, personally, I think FNAF 1 is the best game of the set. But FNAF 2 is a good second. And then Security Breach just wasn't scary, but I did like the personality of the characters. Ruin did a better job of being scary, but it still had some issues of its own. Especially when it came to retconning the parts of certain characters. So then you had to like figure out how any of that stuff happened or like works the way it's presented in Ruin. But we'll see what happens, because they're gonna make a third part, or unless Help Wanted 2 fills that in. Bugs are the best part of Breach. But yeah, it was for it being a dream, the FNAF 3 or FNAF 4 being a dream. It's likely that's what it was, because Scott was trying to hint like, oh, why would Chica's beak come off and stuff like that, and he was kind of like just kind of hinting that all of this was like a kid's imagination, as he was probably either dying on his deathbed or whatever. But then once more of the books started coming out and all that, they kind of just started hinting that it was like other elements that got introduced through the books. So whatever the original story of FNAF 4 was going to be got retconned. And since Scott was fully aware that people go into the data of the games, that's why there's no like hidden animation inside the box or whatever, because he didn't include one. Or he just never went through with the idea and just left it alone. No, because basically in FNAF 4 you see that there's a toy of Chica that had her beak break off, because, you know, kids play with their toys rough and stuff like that. So in FNAF 2, Chica's beak just randomly comes off when she leaves the stage, and there's no indication to why that is. And that's supposed to be hinting that all the stuff that's going on in the first few games is just this kid's imagination freaking him out. But yeah. But at this point, everything got retconned, so it doesn't matter. And then if you go off of FNAF VR's lore, none of the games matter anyway. Or the previous games matter, because we don't know what's canon now. And then now that the books are slowly becoming part of the main game story, now you gotta figure out if like this stupid shit like Phasgu and time traveling ball pits is a thing. Since the Mimic is a thing. Like, the Mimic is so lame of a character. Like, it's just a boring character. And I really hope they don't use the mimic as a red herring for like other events in the future, where it's like, oh, okay, it was so and so here, but then you find out, oh no, it was the mimic, because that's just gonna make everything be really, really, really dumb. And then I think another bad thing is if they try to do a Skyward Sword and just go further back than the original animatronics and make up characters that existed before Freddy and them. And it's just gonna be like, oh well, see, everything was messed up before, and it's like, well, now you're just taking away from the whole main story. I think that's what's gonna happen. It's where the older games are gonna become less interesting based on the storyline of the newer games. Hello, I'm just drawing her fat for the hell of it. But yeah, like the whole, like, because Ruin basically retconned their own ending for Security Breach by making the Princess Quest minigame the canon ending, even though it had 3 stars, which I'm surprised people were still trying to figure out which was the canon ending. But Ruin pretty much confirms it. And then I don't know what they were thinking for the original Security Breach game, where they were like, oh well, here's the special ending with Afton and all that, and everyone's like, why? And it's like they spent so much time building up Vanny only for her to do practically nothing. And they even still have the trailer of her doing more in the trailer than she does in the game on their Steam page. Like, it's still up of Vanny doing stuff that she doesn't do in the game. Which I'm surprised that they're doing that, because, you know, that's technically false advertising. Yeah, false advertising. So. No, this is for the Fat Lovers Club. The next drive-related thing I want to do is with Chica from FNAF. The games are fine, it's just the story that gets all kind of messy. Like, I would say the first 4 games are perfectly fine. It's after that where it starts to get, like, really convoluted. Although I will say FNAF 6 and 7 are good. It was just 5 where it was like, what? 5 was like the only one where I was just kind of like, eh. 6, honestly, the only thing I really liked about 6 was just the whole making your own pizzeria thing. The character designs were kind of meh for me in that game. But 7 was good in terms of basically just making it a giant challenge mode, because the games kind of follow their own formula, where you have the 5 main nights, which are like the first 5 games, and then you have a 6th night, and then you have a bonus thing with or a custom night which is night 7. So the first 7 games basically do that. The lore would drive you mad. Like, if you followed just like the first the first 7 games, the lore is pretty much fine for the most part. Like, yeah, FNAF 5 and 6 kind of muddy the waters a bit, but 7 does a good way of just kind of like finishing it off. Though the ending for FNAF 6 was also good, but 7 is a good way to finish it off, and then it's just basically fine after that. But VR is where they decide to retcon a lot of shit. And then my only gripe with Security Breach was how they basically took away Vanny's importance, because Help Wanted did such a good job building her up, as well as the AR game where they were like putting in hidden lore of like Vanessa, you know, doing shit. But then Security Breach just completely drops the ball. Which Chica? I want to use the first Chica, because I want to start her off with just like, oh, she's joining the crew and all that, and then go from there. Plus, she's my favorite. Chica's always been my favorite. Initially, Chica was my favorite because I thought she was a duck due to how her bill was designed in the first game. But then they said she was a chicken. I was like, I still like her. I didn't change anything. But clearly they made her more chicken-like in later games. Mostly just tweaking her beak. But I like that they actually kept her beak the same from the first game. They didn't like retcon that or alter it. They're like, nah, we'll keep it. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Like, whatever works, works for those games. I'm just being like less interested in the story as it becomes more and more convoluted or involves things that just don't make sense to involve in it. Like I'm still gonna stand by that being about Ghost was the best part. Because once you get to the whole AI thing, then it just becomes like locked in on its own inconsistencies. Or not even just AI, just like the whole science fiction part of it. Yeah, she got a chubby bunny face. Anyway, I hope everyone's enjoying Hi-Hat and Black Circus so far. I know it's gonna take a while to ramp up to the more interesting parts, but we'll get there. Hello, Wolfie. Yep, doing good. Oh, thank you for the raid. Hello, everyone. Just working on some art. Some chubby characters. Well, chubby bunny in this case. Raid boss. That's funny. I like that it actually called you that. Yes, everyone gets a muffin. Oh, that'd be fun if I could actually do that. Just people show up and I'm like, alright, here's a muffin, and the muffin just magically appears in front of them. And they would be blueberry muffins. Unless you're allergic and then you get something else. Hello, Mutt Ninja. This one's Blake Sinclair, but fat. So yeah, not Blake Dinewell. Which honestly, there's only like very minor differences between the two. Okay, maybe not that minor, because you know, one gets adopted and the other one's parents are still around. So yeah, there's that. Desmond, hello. I like the emotes. Alright, let's try this. Let's do a playlist. We'll have Blake be wearing some shorts or whatever, but she's getting too big for them. Yeah, it was an Astacast. Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an Astacast. I know, right? Because she's actually, she's only like 5 foot, so just a short, fat bunny. Oh yeah, yeah. Like for me, it just depends on the character, on how I feel about certain things. But now I'm just kind of like, whatever if it's not canon. It's like, what, you want her bigger than a mountain? All right, we'll do that. I just have to make things clear when it comes to canon events happening. Expanding my horizons. Yeah, I guess I have, haven't I? Or at least their horizons, not mine. Get myself ready for Halloween. Yeah, doing this stuff is fun. Always have a good time. Just gotta balance it out so that way it doesn't burn me out. Thank you. But yeah, I just gotta keep things interesting and bounce it out. That's why I Hat 2 doesn't have to do with waking, while Black Circus kinda does, but that's only because it's pretty much an aftermath of the main theme, which is Vor. So it kind of comes hand in hand unless I make up a reason why the characters don't gain weight when they do Vor. But that's not going to be the case. In Red's case, it could be just that she doesn't do it very often. And plus, she's only, going to that one bar. She's not, like, meeting actual people. So she has her reasons, whereas Joanne, she's gonna make it her gimmick, and that's what's gonna start having a toll on her. Yeah. Because I just gotta explain how Joanne ends up becoming as big as she does. And that's basically it, really. Like, that's like, honestly, that's like the only challenging part. Everything else just boils down to when I get a chance to draw it. Alright, might need to, well, for starters, bring it up a bit. Not sure if I'm going to draw the rest of her legs. We'll see. I definitely need to move her over a bit so her butt can be in there. I'll adjust the canvas a little later. Yeah, see, this is my problem when I'm zoomed in so close. It throws me off on where I am in space. Well, the difference is that Black Circus isn't like bestowing magical things on the people. It's just letting them indulge and become crazy. So, because like, at least in Skylar's case, it's at least somewhat explained how he has his ability. Because the whole auras being a thing, or whatever name I'm gonna officially give it. Whereas, with Joanne, she doesn't have any special abilities. So, the main idea I have is where she overdoes it with the whole serums that are used at the Vor Bar that allows other species of characters to partake in Vor. So in her case, she overdoes it. So I'll probably have it where like the bar has like strict rules around the use of their stuff and how many times you can, you know, come in and do Vor and all that. But Joanne, you know, I don't know, breaks in or whatever, steals some stuff, whatever the case may be. But that's the initial idea I have. Maybe I'll think of something better. But that's the idea I have for her to start changing more physically. Her mental state will be more because due to her getting more and more into the gimmick and her role, and she's getting like more popular because of it, so she doesn't want to stop. Getting lost down there. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, Blake, all your fat. All your fat is making this difficult. And this would probably be behind us. Dicking around. That doesn't look right. Let's see. Honestly, it would be the aura. Yeah, I'll try it this way. Can always change it later if I don't like it. probably like that or something since you're wearing clothing. We'll mess around with it. Starting to understand where Marcy's coming from with it. I could totally see Marcy's mom asking Marcy and Skylar if they're using protection, and then they both just say like, "Yes, of course." And then in Crystal's mind, she's all thinking, she's like, "They're lying," but she's like not gonna like call them out on it. Oh yeah, definitely. Blake would definitely be annoyed of that. She's like, "Oh great, I gotta get more boost just to pass the fuck out." See how this looks. Not sure how far I want to go with the waves. I'm just gonna stop right there for now. I do like where it's going with this though. Yeah, that would be the cycle, wouldn't it? Okay, now it's just a matter of deciding what kind of top I want to give her. It's like, protect of course, and like, oh crap. Oh yeah, that would be their way of protecting, is just Skylar having sex with Marcy's rolls, and then to make sure, you know, Marcy has a good time, you know, the deep dives into her crotch.
A universe of secrets that I've taken to the grave. Time and time again, with no soul to be saved.
I could totally see that happening.
I was human too. I knew how to love, and I had things to prove. My famous pride, and I faltered well into the abyss. And in this hell I dwelt forever. Hate me, berate me, now face me. I'm just like you, so hollow. We wallow, I follow. Our destinies came here, and all that you hold dear will
Sounds like a fun concept. There was that one picture of Skylar with a snorkel as Marcy slept, getting ready to dive into her folds. Let's switch things up. Let's switch things up. Because a lot of that kind of sounds the same. Ooh, this should be a good one. Do this one. This is true. I mean, gotta make sure you get all that out of that fur. As long as she has some help getting those hard to reach space spots. That or a loofah. Wash herself with a big long loofah. Or be like Fat Bart and say, I wash myself with a rag on a stick. But yeah, I could totally see Marcy being somewhat annoyed. Being fat. She's like, I don't mind being fat, but sometimes it can get in the way of a lot of things. It just cuts to like Marcy trying to put something away and she ends up knocking something over with her ass. Or how she takes up a lot of space going down a hallway. So it makes it difficult for everyone else to pass her. And then she'd be like, well, it does have its benefits, and it shows her just sitting on Skylar going like, you're gonna pick up the kids tomorrow, right? And he's like, yes, fuck. Or she's like, you're taking the kids to their soccer practice or whatever the fuck they're doing. I can totally see Skylar going like, honey, can't breathe. It would be funny where Marcy and Skylar get in like some argument, and then towards the end of the argument, Marcy's just like, you know what, and just picks up her belly and just slams it on the table. And Skylar is just like, all right, you win. Just looks at her belly and he's like, okay, you win. Yeah, it's totally funny for like they're gonna go to bed or something. Skylar's already in the bed and Marcy's, done getting ready. So she hops onto the bed and Skylar just sinks right right onto her. Blake would probably just take advantage of herself if she was being fat. She was just like put her big old bunny booty in front of whoever she's with. Could totally see her going to Marcy and being like, so I fucked a fox last night, and she's like, whoa, how did that go? And he's like, oh, he was really into my ass. Probably just gonna have like a cutoff on this. I do wanna exaggerate some areas. What bra size is she? What the fuck do I know? Shit. Probably like H cup or, well, probably bigger than that. Probably like K, I don't know. And this is all assuming the cup sizes that I have for them normally are even accurate. Because watermelon's like a Z cup, or double or triple Z. Yeah, true. Like, realistically, that would be an issue. But luckily we don't have to worry about realism. At least not too much of it. Just enough to make it make sense. Because seriously, Skylar would have trouble getting into Marcy if that were the case. I know, right? He's like, Skylar just like, oh, how do I bang my wife? Simple. Just grabs just hugs the biggest part of her ass, and just slams hard. Yeah, like when I'm making the character bios, some of it's just gonna be like the best guess I can make, because like I have some of like the measurement stuff to help try to figure out what the characters would be realistically, but then after a while it's just kind of getting more convoluted, because there's just some sizes you can't account for because of things like, you know, a tail, or maybe they have multiple breasts, or maybe their breast has eyes on them or something, or whatever the case. Or so after a certain point it's just more like throwing shit together and just having fun with it and exaggerate. You can tell who they're way in the middle over here, so let me show up. Maybe I'll do this, and then I can make it look like buttons on her pants or shorts or whatever gonna start coming off soon. like, I don't know how much longer we can hold on. Exactly. Oh yeah, like Skylar was definitely horny enough to be making sure he pumps his wife. Got 2 kids out of her so far, so he was doing something right. Life finds a way. Yeah, when it comes to cup sizes and all that, you gotta go off of different countries. That's why for my maid outfit, I had to go off of Asian sizes for the fake boobs that I have. And like the first ones I bought were D cups, but comparing them to my friend who does have D cup boobs, they seem more like C cups, maybe smaller. So I had to get bigger, or the biggest size that they had that I could work with, and it was G cups. And those fuckers are heavy. So I completely understand the bullshit women have to go through. Same thing for clothing sizes. It's like, oh my god, this is such a fucking hassle. Especially if they don't have anything in my size. And I have to like improvise or figure out whatever small differences between certain inches and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, can I wear this? Luckily, I haven't had any issues. I think the closest would be like a ninja outfit that I have that I had to stretch out in order to wear because they didn't have it in my size, but I really wanted it, so I just got it the smallest or the biggest that they had. When are we gonna get Blake popping a button animation? When I have time to animate, because that shit takes a while. There's a lot that I want to do. I just gotta figure out a good way to have time for it all. And I think after I had 2 in Black Circus, I might lean into only working on 1 comic set at a time. That way it won't take forever to get through a story. That's what I'm thinking about, at least. Maybe I'll make it put up to a vote. Well, no, because it would just be what I think I can handle better. So that's what I'm thinking for now. If I go through with it, then I will. If not, then I won't. But we'll see. I'll try to make things easier over time. Yeah, like a lot of the information is almost not really that necessary, because it's like, do you really need to know this type of thing? I mostly just have it for fun, which is why I haven't really jumped on working on the bios too often. I will make the ones that I for the characters that have been showing up, but sometimes certain information like cup size is like just not necessary. Like sometimes even the weight of the characters isn't needed, other than just to aid how they look visually. Because ultimately it's just really hard to figure out how heavy a character would actually be, given their size and all that. Because for all I know, realistically, Marcy's probably way heavier than whatever number I gave her in her bios. And then there's like things of like physical ability that comes into play, like Joanne, for example, because she's like about 7 feet long. But then it's like, okay, can she actually hold a body in her stomach? Realistically. And I'm like, I don't know, because all I know is that big ass snakes can fucking do it, being a particular size, and I'm just gonna wing it. And then plus, you know, she's not an actual snake either. She's just a ferrokene that's based on a snake, so she doesn't share all the traits that a snake would have. Because it's like, I could say she's cold-blooded, but then you see her in the comic enjoying ice cream, so it's kind of up in the air on what she's allowed to do. But luckily that's why it's all fantasy and fiction and all that, so I can do whatever. It's like, what? Joanne can fit 5 people in her belly? Cool. And she's only 7 feet long? Well, she won't be moving anywhere anytime soon, but sure, we'll let that happen. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, we're just here for fun. I'm here to draw comics, have fun, and I don't know, every once in a while make some sexy alluring things. Okay, I noticed that we wouldn't see her tail, but I'm just gonna put it there because it feels weird without it. Because realistically, her tail will be further than normal. I'm just gonna put it over here on the side. Some logic you can just throw out, be like, whatever. You know what? I don't like this stuff. Let's change this. Like, I can make reasons for shit to happen. That's not difficult at all. I just want to have some form of ground in them. And let's show more of it. I just want to have some sense of logic for their world, so that way not everything can just happen for the sake of happening. At least have like a reason that fits in their world. I'll keep the access here just because I like it. the scars that are on her body. Do that. Look up her naked versions. Be like, all right, Blake, drop trowel. We gotta know where your scars are. She'd just be like, again? That or just say, bitch, you paying me? Yeah, that's why I have everything limited. So that way it can't just happen with every character. That's why some characters get spiritual abilities, some get magical, some have to do with genetic or bioengineered stuff. Whatever else. So that's why there's a logic to it. Alright, Blake, where are you? There you are. Yeah. Scar. So let's assume it's over there. So Scar probably about here. Being accurate with her scars is a pain in the ass, so most of the time I'm just kinda like, if we're not seeing anything specific, I'm just kinda gonna ignore it. He says as he still tries to be somewhat accurate with her scars. Yeah, exactly. Because like right now Black Circus is stuck with, you know, well, not stuck, but like Black Circus is running with logic for Joanne because she doesn't have anything magical going on. And once I introduce whatever I need for her to do the whole supernatural stuff or like, you know, non-logic stuff, that's when I can let loose and have more to work with. Andy's story kind of already has some mystical stuff going on, such as him getting hypnotized. But other than that, it's mostly just been pretty wholesome. Do some pockets. Sounds like a music for a drug commercial. This is just video game remix music. Okay, I think this is good. We'll just crop out what we don't need. Oh, here's fine. Go Lesterix. Oh god. I do want to do like a comic where a character finds like a job, but they want bigger women, and so they do everything in their power to get fat as quickly as possible. And they find some like weight gain drink or something. I know, right? He's like, oh, here's a beer, and she's looking at it, and it's like, what is this, a sample size? He just grabs the fucking keg and chucks it. That'd be fucking Raz. Instead of just taking bottles of beer, he just fucking grabs a keg. Beer belly blank. Too bad her name isn't Kelly. She could be Cake Killer Kelly. Okay. Yeah. And Skylar's dad would definitely like Marcy rather easily. He's like, oh, he's like, ah, my boy chose a woman who can eat. Like, good boy. Like, that's my boy. And then seeing how thick Marcy is, he's like, ah, the apple didn't fall far from the tree, eh? Pretty much. Making Louise proud. You would likely say that away from the ears of the women, though. But you'd definitely say that to Skylar. Or if he did say it in front of women, it'd just be a little embarrassing. Skylar would be like, Dad. Exactly. Carrot-shaped bottle. Blake would just be like, oh, because I'm a rabbit. I get it. Ha 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 ha. She would just glare at you for making that kind of joke. Still thought it was funny where people, when Bobby showed up in the comics and people were like, oh, it must be hard to not have thumbs. And I'm just like, well, Joanne doesn't have arms or legs. She seems to be managing. Bobby would be like, man, it sucks not having thumbs. And Joanne would just say, suck it up, bitch. Take care. Have a good day. I'll be getting off pretty soon, too. Give her a purple top. Match her makeup. This one. Yeah, shorts can be darker. It's probably like, hey, you still watching? Yes. Almost done with the coloring, and then I think I'll call it for the night. I can finish it up a little later. Alright. I'm gonna call it for now. This will be done a little later tonight, and I will post this along with Marcy's pick as soon as Blake's is done. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good night, okay? Bye bye.